Chopin enlists educational background. I played those 5 pieces and I trusted my improvisation skills. Actually, we played around this time 2 years ago. This music, listen to other music to develop our ears. Because if you would actually concentrate on, focus on what actually you should be working. Hello everyone, welcome to the 6th episode of our 10 live stream series. Actually, this will be the first live stream of the year 2024, so I'm quite excited about it. Actually, for this live stream, for the first day of this year 2024, I wanted to make like some kind of special edition, you know, special New Year edition or something like this, because I thought it would be interesting to maybe invite some guests and have discussions with them and talk about music and so on. But in the end, I mean, here I am, and today I will do the discussion but with myself and I prepared 5 questions that are really interesting for me to talk about. And rather than answering these questions in a way of like right or wrong or yes or no or you know this kind, I will try to compare perspectives, and of course I have opinions about all those, but I will try to compare perspectives to have a richer discussion, you know, compare both sides of the perspectives. I'm not sure if you can see the end of the board, so maybe something like this would be, yeah, okay. I mean, when we will come to the 5th question, maybe it's better to think about it then. So yeah, I'm now actually quite liking to use this board since I've noticed that in the last live stream actually there was no problem because it's not inversed. I see it from the screen inversed, but actually you can see it from what I know, from not like a mirror, you know, completely fine. So let's start with the first question. I said, is it better really a lot of practice or really efficient practice? I mean, both are quite important, I could say. Both are quite important because, I mean, both are necessary because you could be practicing efficiently but not enough. So even though if you practice efficient, it will not reach the maximum capability that you could reach. And whereas if you practice a lot but with no meaning, with no efficiency, I mean, then it's a bit sad that you spend all those hours without actually taking the best out of it. So yeah, there is this clock that makes noise again. I mean, I forgot it, but okay, forgive me for that. I'm not sure I don't think it will confuse me. So I don't think it will distract me. So yes, I mean, both are necessary, you know, for me. But there is a point where a lot of practice can also damage you. I mean, all this also depends on the fact that, for my perspective, I mean, depends on the fact that how your state of mind on that current moment that you're practicing is. Like, if you're at a state of mind that, you know, you are practicing a lot, you feel that you need it, also physically your body is capable of doing that, because there's a point where the body gets tired, where also the mind gets tired, where I'm also a believer that you as a human needs, as basic needs, you need to have a life, you know, you need to spend other times rather than only practicing, because you're a human, and as an artist you need experience, you need to see the world, you need to have experiences as a human rather than just be a robot practicing in your room for hours. There's maybe periods this can help you as a musician, but to be a real artist, I'm a big believer for the importance of, I mean, enjoying life as a human and having experiences and so on. So yes, efficiency will also depend on the state of mind, but if we think about any kind of practice, efficiency is necessary. I mean, if you practice a lot, for sure you will learn from it. For sure there will be some difference from what you were at that previous point before you practiced a lot. But at the same time, why not making the best out of it? And practicing also efficiently on that moment. You know, at some point, if you practice efficiently, 3 hours, really efficiently, and fixing all the parts you had to fix in a piece, or all the parts you had to fix in your technique, all the parts you had to fix in your mind about some things about performing, or something with that piece, something with your relaxation of mentality, of physical relaxation, mental relaxation, all those, then it could be more useful than you just playing the pieces you have for like 10 hours a day, or just doing scales 10 hours a day, like I said in the first and second episode, without actually knowing what you're doing scales, but what are you doing? Are you working with the fingers, working with the arm? Are you tensed? Are you relaxed? All this, maybe it will even damage you after all these hours of practice if you have a lot of tension and so on. So yes, that's what I think about this first question. Let's go to the second one. Does physical relaxation matter for a performer? Yes. This is something I actually also really wanted to talk about. You know, I'm also a big believer of the fact that it's like, we could say that mental and physical parts of the word of this work are, I mean, are the most important things, and are just the things that build this job. I mean, and that physical relaxation will be also working by extension of having mental relaxation, and the opposite as well. You know, let's talk about physical relaxation in detail. Let's go deep down in this area of conversation. Physical relaxation is necessary. Why? Because you can be not knowing what you're doing. You can be not knowing why you have tension, why you're relaxed on the moment, and so on and so on. Then it comes to the day of performing. Then you're on stage. If you have stress, which most of the cases you will have, and you had no problem before, you didn't think of any kind of relaxation of your mind, of your body, so on, of physical relaxation, and you go on stage and you're stressed. One of the possible things that could happen is that your muscles, your joints, everything will be so much more tense than usual, which will cause you to be so much less flexible, to kind of reduce the amount of success you could reach. Even for sound production, if you would normally produce the sound relaxedly in a way, even though you wouldn't know what you're doing, let's say that you are a person that you don't know what you're doing and why you're relaxed, or why you should not be tensed, or you should be tensed on that moment, so on. Even though that you're that person, the sound production, when it comes to the stage, if before you were not having problems, if on stage, because of the stress, you are having problems, it's because of the tension you will have, because stress will create you tension, unnecessary tension, most of the cases. Once your muscles, your joints will be blocked, there will be tension because of the fact that stress enters. To produce the sound, have the patience also, and use body weight and use all the natural resources you have to produce that beautiful sound, can be most of the time damaged, you know, the process of that. And as a person that doesn't know why it happens, you would be in quite shock. So that's why you should be knowing also when to relax, when to have tension, when to have detension. I mean, with knowing, then you will understand that relaxation, physical relaxation, is important. Also, physical relaxation will develop also by you identifying all those places in the pieces, or all those passages, when to be relaxed and when have the tension, maybe on the finger, maybe on the arm, like as I mentioned in the first and second episode, and so on. And already have a plan for all those and know the effects of tension. I mean, as a musician, if all your joints and all your muscles are not relaxed, you know, and if there is no tension necessary on that part of passage, then your amount of success for reaching the sound, reaching the technical capability, I mean, velocity that you will have is not so high. The chance of you reaching that success is not so high. So yeah, physical relaxation really matters for a performer, knowing from my own experience. Back in the time where I was also not conscious about how important it was, the times that it was coming, that maybe I was feeling a bit unprepared, I was feeling stressed on stage, and maybe a bit stiff. Yeah, it would be so much harder to just show my best, produce the same beautiful sound that I want to create, or show the velocity I have, play the virtuosic passages as I wanted to play, and so on. You know, so yes, it does affect a lot, as well as the mental relaxation part, or mental, you know, knowing what to think about, what to prepare. Also physically knowing what to prepare, knowing what movement you should be doing and why on that passage, and why is it necessary, and so on. Third question: practicing with a really good or a really bad instrument. I said really good or really bad so that these are two extremes. So it's also, this one also is an interesting question for me, just because it's also not right and wrong question that I could just answer like this is better and this is for me, you know. Yeah, it's not yes or no question. It both, I mean, I would not prefer one another, you know. Practicing with a really good instrument or bad, both can be really beneficial, but both will have different conditions to make it more beneficial, and both will have different conditions to make the best out of it. Practicing, let's talk about some effects, some conditions that will vary, and what I would do maybe in both situations. Let's say I'm practicing with a really bad piano. The thing is that even if I'm practicing with a really bad piano, I would, or a good piano actually, I would always, I would always, if I'm gonna perform one day, like let's say tomorrow I'm performing with a different piano, and that piano is, I don't know, just not really good, not really bad, but different touch, and so on, that I have to produce with that piano. I would just prepare with a really good or really bad instrument, so that I will have the best advantages for that piano that I will perform tomorrow. You know, for me, that's the most intelligent thing to do. Instead of trying to understand this instrument so much that I'm practicing with, I would try to, if I had a chance to just understand the other piano that, like just to see how it functions, that piano that I will perform tomorrow, then I would just say, okay, this, the keys are harder, sound production is like this, acoustics are like this, so let me train with this piano, even no matter how bad it is or how good it is, so that I will be in the best shape to play on that piano, and I will be in the best shape to understand that piano and already have understood that piano and be familiar with that piano when I'm playing next day on stage. Yes, there are exceptions, of course. If I want to hear, like the key point is for me to get used to an instrument, to understand an instrument that I'm playing, to try to produce the sound I wanted to create. Second episode, referring to the second episode again, imagination and creativity in piano. Refer to the sound that's in my ear that I want to hear. You know, trying to produce the sound I want to hear. Being relaxed, just trying on that piano, thinking about the disadvantages and advantages that piano can help me with to be able to create what I want actually in my ear, what is in my ear that I want from that passage, from that piece. So for this, I would maybe sometimes, just to create that in the best way, play with that piano in the way that as if it's like a performance, and at its peak of doing what I want to hear. But I would probably, in most cases, if I have a concert with another piano that has different conditions the next day, I would probably just play in a way that maybe it doesn't sound good with the piano I'm practicing, but it will sound good with tomorrow's piano, you know. If I really want to hear and if I really want to experiment what I'm doing, maybe change the phrasing that I have in my ear, maybe then I would do something different, you know, but maybe then I would go for it with that piano, but usually just to prepare for the next one. And actually, bad and good are relative things for an instrument. For me, reactiveness and the limitlessness of colors could be considered as bad and good, you know. There are some actually really good pianos, really good brand pianos, and you know latest Steinways and so on, you know, all these grand pianos that are actually great, but at the same time they have kind of limited colors, like kind of that there is a limit, there is a range of limit that has been put that makes whoever that plays already have a certain level, but at the same time being able to experiment less. Of course there's always ways, you know, this is just a comment I have, just my opinion, and I've heard with many people say also, but you know, there's a difference between old Steinways and recent Steinways also, that many people say that color is more fixed now, and feels a bit more limited to produce that another different kind of sound. The sound is already really beautiful that you will produce when you press the key most of the time, you know, but at the same time it feels a bit limited, it feels a bit experimentable. I don't mean all pianos, just this is a case that happens sometimes. But yes, reactiveness of the key, just being able to produce what you want to produce. Does the piano allow you to produce what you want to produce? Does the piano allow you to have what you want to have? If it doesn't allow you, then you will find a way for it. If it does allow you, nice, you will already experiment on different things. Maybe this piano allows you to do even more, you know, consider these kind of things, and but I would just say no matter which kind of piano I'm practicing, good or bad, I would just try to prepare for the piano that I will perform so that I'm in the best condition for that piano. Yep. Fourth question. And before I answer the fourth question, I want to say that you're free, you're completely free to ask anything you want to ask to me, or state any kind of opinion you have. I mean, you can be completely free as all the other previous live streams. You're also now completely free. And about that, I would like to hear from you, your opinions, your comments, and forgive me if I didn't see any comments that if I missed out some comments that you wrote. Let me check before I come to the fourth question. How to practice efficiently in the first place? Yes. This is for the first question, but I will still answer it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I already answered. Let me think about it. I think I already answered. To practice more efficiently, maybe I did not actually. To practice more efficiently, I mean, depends also which piece you're practicing, what current mood not mood, what current state of state you're in your playing. I mean, if you have problems with technique, if you have problems with imagination of the phrase, if you have problems, the most efficient thing is most of the time is just to find the problem and solve it in the best way possible, fastest and the best way possible, and so that you can continue improving and improving, and so that you fix the problems that didn't allow you to make what you want to make out of the piano, what you want to hear, what you want to play. Exactly. So that's what I think an efficient practice would be, to fix the problems that's in your way, that doesn't allow you to reach where you want to reach in your playing, or you as a musician in general development. So, hope it helped. Fourth question. Which instrument would I play if I wouldn't play the piano? Well, I mean, I find actually almost all the instruments really fascinating. Yeah, of course, it's a pleasure for me to answer. Everyone should feel free to ask whatever they want to ask and comment on whatever they want to comment. Like, this is just more like a discussion atmosphere also for me. It's better. And I mean, I really find fascinating all the instruments, and for example all the brass instruments, but soloistically, I mean, thinking soloistically, because I'm a person that quite likes to be a soloist, and I'm used to it from little age because of piano also, since it's a more soloistic instrument. I would probably say violin, because also the range of repertoire it has is usually wider than all the other instruments, like solo horn, it will not be the same as solo violin, whereas it will also not be the same as solo piano. But I also find violin as a more soloistic instrument. It has the capability to be a more soloistic instrument, and more in front, an instrument that is more in front, that is more there, when playing, and all those pieces composed like for the virtuosity, and like I think that it's an instrument that also carries the audience with it, a lot. Whereas cello, I also would like to, of course, play one day, and but yeah, violin I think would be my option to consider, because since it's a solistic instrument, I like its sound. I like the range of. I like the fact that the range of pieces are wider for it, much richer, let's say. Okay, there's a comment in Turkish. I will read it in Turkish. Maalesef İngilizce bilmiyorum, o yüzden çok iyi anlayamıyorum. Sadece Rahmaninof'lu şahane çalıyorsun. Concerto'nun full hali var mı? I will also answer it in Turkish. If you forgive me for that, because I know that you will not understand maybe most of the people, but yeah, the listener that asked doesn't know very well English. So teşekkürler. Bu güzel düşünceniz için teşekkür ederim. Bir daha okuyayım. Evet, Concerto'nun full hali kanalımdan bulabilirsiniz. Concerto'nun full halini. Rachmaninoff ikinci konçertodan bahsediyorsun sanırım, evet. Onun birinci bölümünün yani full hali, hatta masterclass olarak kanalımdan bulabilirsiniz. Ama konçertonun tamamının full hali yok. Çünkü konçertonun tamamını çaldım ama bölümlerini farklı konserlerde çaldım. Her bölümünü diyelim. Orkestra ile çaldığım olmuştu. Ama onun da ikinci bölümünün kaydı var. Onları da bulabilirsiniz. Okay. Teşekkürler. Okay. So let's go back to the topic of the live stream. Yeah. Okay. I think I answered it. So, fifth question and the last question. I don't know if you can see it, but I will anyways read it. Experience on stage, like, so that if experience on stage changes the confidence for a piece. I mean, basically saying that, does experience on stage with one piece change the confidence for that piece? That's what I wanted to say. For this, I would say yes. For this, I would say yes. It's a clear answer for me. It's actually quite strange, you know. There can be moments also that this also really depends on the state of mind you're in and the mentality you have on that moment, how you develop on this mental aspect as well. But if you play a piece on stage and for the first time, you will be many of the times stressed more than usual, more than the times that you played a different piece that you played already 5 times on stage. I mean, this is obvious, this is common sense. But at the same time, there can be exceptions where you gained so much more strength in your mind and in your playing over that time, and you worked in such a way to prepare for such performances, and you know everything about the piece. You know what you're doing on that piece. And this can also end up with you having stress maybe or not, but the important thing is you controlling it and actually making more out of it than you would do if things would not be planned and it would be your 10th performance, you know. The magic of performing a lot with that, with the same piece so much is basically just, I think, just giving your brain the confidence that you already played that piece, you already have a certain reputation with playing that piece on that level, and you already know the passages that could go wrong and you already worked on them, probably. In most case, that would be the smart thing to do. And yes, this is the illusion that your brain creates, that it's so much more confident. I mean, it's not an illusion, it's also a fact, you know? Since you already saw the places you failed and you fixed and so on. But at the same time, if it's your first performance and you know what exactly you're gonna do, and you already had experiences, of course, with a lot of other performances, but not with this piece, if you know what you want to do, what you want to hear how relaxed you should be on that part, no matter if you're stressed or not. Referring to all the other questions as well. The thing with all these questions is that they're in a way connected. That's why I wanted to ask those, because in a way there's a certain link between all, you know. That's what I like about it. Also, I mean, where was I? Yeah. Do you already know what you're gonna do? Then, I mean, then stress cannot affect so much. Sudden disturbing, maybe some noise or something that you wouldn't expect would not disturb so much, because you would already know in case what that happens, what you're supposed to do usually, you know, rather than many questions marking in your head. Because I believe that it's what makes you more stressed and makes your stress uncontrollable is not the fact that not only you're not ready physically to play that piece, it's also not ready mentally, you know. If you're too much question marks in your head, that can end up increasing and increasing the amount of stress and amount of doubts you have about any passage and anything, like any distraction happening, or don't know, you know, things like this. So preparation of the mind is really important, as well as a preparation of plan of knowing what you're doing in the piece. So since we have all answered all the questions, let's see the comments. Let's check the comments. Yeah. Favorite piano concerto to listen? I mean, can't answer it just like this because there are many, I mean, concertos that are, you know, really nice to listen, of course, you know. But let me give you one example, just comes to my mind. Did you say piano concerto? Yeah, piano concerto, okay. I mean, Rachmaninoff's piano concertos, I mean, this is a bit overused answer maybe, but over-repeated answer, but Rachmaninoff's piano concertos, you can listen Chopin piano concertos, Brahms, you know, just depends on your taste as well, or depends on your current taste, what you're interested at. But yeah, all beautiful. I mean, Beethoven concertos, all. Yes, so, but thank you for your question. So, do you think composers like Chopin, who was known to have softer tone, less power, should be played like they would play it, or play those pieces with tone according to yourself, the soloist? This, actually, I really like this question. I really like this question because it's a really interesting one. I like to think about those things as well. For me, I also question those things when playing. In my opinion, even though this thinking can change depending on the time period I'm in, you know, with the different kind of experience I will have or I had before, even though I thought differently and now I think differently about it. With my thinking now, I think at the same time that you should have a certain individual characters, can be your tone, can be your sound, how interesting that phrase it is, it should be all inside of the square that the composer wants it to be. There were certain periods where I was thinking, no, man, we should go out of the square, and I mean, we should be more experimenting, and we should be more imaginative. We should make a difference. Then what is the difference if everyone plays the same and all those? But then there's an important factor that I was missing: the respect for the composer. And this is the one key element that is really essential for the culture of classical music. I mean, if anyone would play any composer's piece like however they wanted, I mean, it would end up classical music would end up losing its culture, and I don't think it would be respectful as well. So that's why my current opinion of it is that tone is something tone is something that could be considered exceptional for this, and tone for this could be an exception. But yes, I mean, if you're playing Chopin, I think I mean, depends how far you go from it, from Chopin's tone. But the moment you know that how Chopin was playing was like this and how he wanted it was like this, I think it's better for you to move around that direction when you're playing. I think it's the most ideal thing to do, you know. And I'm also the fact that I said all this, that you know, you should not go out of and that square that the composer wants and so on and so on. It's also because that I know that I'm still a student. I know that I'm still not an old pianist and so on. And once maybe I'm old, once already I performed and performed and performed for many years in really big concert halls and so on, or I mean, we don't know what happens till then. But if that's the case, then I would probably put more individualism in my playing, you know, much easily, you know, than now how I would put it, you know. Now it feels more secure and more ideal to completely try to be in that square that the composer wanted. But there's a special thing for it that I also try to give attention to a lot. There's an important thing about it. I think also this is for a lot of composers and a lot of pianists, I think musicians, this is true. My opinion is that we should follow what the composer wanted us to do rather than what he was doing at the same time. I mean, we can also follow what he was doing, but we are, I think, able to be in that square, but at the same time be free to try to limits of what he wanted us to do. If he's playing with soft tone, but he didn't indicate that it should be played with soft tone, or in his life you don't, I mean, I'm not talking about only Chopin or other different composers. If in his life he didn't find not playing with this tone annoying, or he didn't necessarily dislike playing with this tone, or he had certain periods where he played with this tone, or he doesn't mind, so on, I think it's more flexible side. But for Chopin, I would say, no matter the tone, what he wants should be there, you know. If he wants the tone like this, you think, then you should do it like this. I think that's what my opinion is, you know. Depends on how it sounds and how convincing it is as well in the end. So yes, let's check the other questions. I hope I could answer in the best way. I mean, I tried even though maybe it took a bit longer than you wanted me to take, but let's see. Yeah, what about improvisation? Should you improvise on solo pieces? I mean, why not? I don't see the reason why not. Of course you can. I mean, I don't think it's a question to ask, because no, I mean, I'm really glad you asked, but I'm just saying that, I mean, you can be free about it. So you can just play it. I mean, as soon as maybe you don't play it on a concert, which if you can play an improvisation on a piece in a concert, which means it's like your improvisation, so it's like your piece that you took some ideas or influence from the other piece, I don't know. then why not? I mean, it would probably improve you if while practicing you do improvisations of that piece. Why not? Probably would improve you, make you improve. So, choosing your favorite music can be difficult. So, if you had to choose, sorry, is going away. If you have to choose your favorite moment passage, what would you choose? For example, the last 30 seconds of the Appassionata, third movement, Chopin Ballade 1. Sorry to hold the camera. Wait. Favorite passage? I mean, one of my favorite passages is the coda of Fourth Ballade. Actually, also the introduction of Chopin Fourth Ballade. Just came to my mind, so I think it's nice. Let's see. Thanks for that, Yasmin. The length was perfect. Okay then. Okay, I'm happy then. Octave part at 50 minutes. Of course, nice. Also, could be one of my favorite. No, like no problem about your English. I can understand everything actually perfectly. It's no problem for me to understand. Thank you for your comment. I'm happy. Yeah, Chopin's Ballad. Wait, what happened? Okay. Of course. Always a pleasure to answer. So, yep. You can ask the last questions you have, or if you want to talk about something, or with me, just you can ask, or you can state your opinions about something, so we can talk about it a bit more. But for now, I seem I'm done. Do you think sight reading Beethoven sonatas or other pieces with detail can be a damaging habit? I mean, this also depends your current level, and yeah, it's really, I think, linked with your current level. If you're at a level where you can read it correctly, because it can develop bad muscle and ear memory, that's why. If you're at a level that you know when you're reading what should you be careful of, and what should be done when you're playing those pieces already, then you can read. You know about how Beethoven should be played, you know about how, you know perfectly about culture of classical music and all those things. It will be, I think, really beneficial. But at the same time, if you're a bit lost about some things, and if you're already trying to fix, trying to understand more, and if you're on that period, maybe not so healthy, you know. Maybe you can develop some damaging habits if you don't know what you're doing when you're reading. If you're just reading the notes or dynamics, you know. If you don't know what Beethoven wants and what kind of sound I want to create in Beethoven, or what kind of phrasing, what kind of these middle voices, how can I, you know, shape them in the best way with the melody and so on. If you don't have a grasp about Beethoven playing and you don't trust yourself yet about it, maybe don't yet. Do etudes, maybe, if you want to do technique. But all this, once you have awareness, it will help so much more. It will be so much efficient once you know what you're doing. Also for sight reading, I think. Hope it helped. What do you think of current state of classical music industry in Turkey? Okay, I didn't expect to get that question, but I have a lot to say. I mean, not a lot to say, but I have some things to say about it. And what are your favorite Turkish pianists? Mine is Edith Brett. Okay, I see. Okay, I will come to all those. We'll try to cover. So, I think that it's really nice that actually in Turkey we have a really good education for the basics I would say, of classical music, basics of technique, really good technique base. Like it really, we, it's, I think in schools and everything, the technique is given in a way that even in Europe, piano technique is not giving to that extent, like taught to that extent in some cases, you know. So that's the thing that I'm happy about in the Turkish classical music education, in Turkish classical music education. Um, but at the same time, I see a big part of, I don't want to say it, but if I say the truth about my opinion about it, I see a big part of the culture of classical music knowledge missing, you know? Big part of knowing how the culture of classical music works missing. For example, the word phrasing is not known like by the 90% of the people, like musicians, you know, how a phrase in romantic period should be, you know. If you ask to someone, even a really good musician in Turkey, there is a possibility that they will not know how to answer it, or you know, this kind of thing. But I think this can be fixable, and this is only remark I want to do. Just my not it came to my notice, and not that it's in the wrong direction. I think it's going, everything is going in the right direction and developing and so on by the years. But at the same time, yeah, since classical music came to Turkey much later, you know, than Europe, for sure, you know, it's not the, I mean, Turkey is not a place where classical music was born or related to. It's not in our culture, in Turkey's culture, classical music. So that's why it's hard to implement all these cultural ideas of classical music into Turkey's educational system for classical music. So that's what the part I see a bit missing, the culture of classical music, the 19th century culture, you know, of 19th century pianists, you know, all those European pianists or Russian school and all those. I see many of the, I see people with a lot of written information, but yeah, when it comes to doing things, can be missing also. But yeah, I see that direction is going in the good way, and I think these problems will be solved, hopefully. This is just my opinion, of course. You don't need to consider as the absolute truth, but this is what I think. So, your favorite pianist, Turkish pianist, is Idris? I mean, I don't want to give names, actually. I don't want to say this is my favorite or this is not my favorite, or... Yeah, in general, this is the point I have. Also for the Turkish pianists, you know, sometimes. Not all of them, you know. I think I don't need to comment so much about it. But yes, in general, like this, my opinion is on this way. So, if you don't have any more questions, and I hope that I answered all those questions in the nice way that you would expect me to. And if you don't have any more questions, I think it would be a good time to finish this episode, the 6th episode, the first live stream of this year, the new year 2024. And I wish you already from the first day of the year a great year. Hopefully it turns out to be a year that is really great for you in every way, and with a lot of music, health, happiness. I already said in the previous episode, success and all those. And take care. I see some more comments, so even though I was gonna finish, now I will I guess you don't like Chopin ballads. Number one, still, if you play someday, can you make a video like masterclass on your channel explaining the details of the work? And please have Turkish subtitles. Yeah, I wanted to have Turkish subtitles as well, but I'm working on it. Maybe someday I will. Because for some people with YouTube on their phones, if when they enter YouTube, you know, they can already select the subtitle and translate it and so on. But no, also about Chopin First Ballad, there's no case that I don't like it or something. Just I haven't played it, and I mean it's a great masterpiece, you know. And someday, yeah, it's a nice idea actually. If you want, if there's a demand for it, why not? I could make a video about it as well. So yeah. So let's see. Let's see live chat. Right. Okay. Who doesn't like Chopin Ballad number one? It's amazing. Yes, I agree. I agree, of course. So, thank you for joining once more. Thank you for the great atmosphere and your support. And hope to see you for the next episode next week. And take care. Have a nice year. Happy New Year 2024. And I hope it was a great start with this episode today on the 1st of January 2024. Take care, guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this nice stream and nice atmosphere.